Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to your Best Bet program. This is Lily Calvache. Today's show from the Keystone State, USA, from Pennsylvania, Mother Earth's Rights Equal Human Rights by Alanna Hartzok. Wow, what an honor. Today we have Alanna Hartzok here with us in person. But let me tell you a little bit about her. She is an educator, activist, consultant, and lecturer in the areas of economic democracy, land rights, financing sustainable development, and public finance policy reforms. She is co-director of Earth Rights Institute, a civil organization working for economic justice and peaceful resolution for conflicts, a United Nations NGO representative for the International Union for Land Value Taxation, a board member of United for a Fair Economy, and on the Advisory Council of the Port Research Institute of Venezuela. Alanna, welcome. How are you today?
Lily, I'm fine. It's a beautiful day here where I live in Pennsylvania. I wish it was beautiful where everybody lived.
Yeah, thank you, Alanna. So to start with this interview today, I would like you to please tell us a little bit about you. What is it that you're doing and what do you know about Colombia? And I'll be just right here listening to you, and so everybody can hear on the perspective of a person that is a non-Colombian and see what you can share with us. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Lily. Thank you. It's an honor to have had you invite me to give this presentation and to share my thoughts. It's so good to have the opportunity to talk to your friends and colleagues and others in Colombia. The sad story is that the United States is not the country of freedom, opportunity that it used to be. And that is because there's a very severe flaw in how democracy was set up. And this has impacted you people there in Colombia because the United States has been the big power country in this hemisphere through the Monroe Doctrine, has assumed quite a bit of control. And there's been a lot of control over Colombia by the super rich of the United States that has kept down people's movements for people's human rights. It's a very sad story. It has led to the current terrible situations of so many human rights and environmental rights people in Colombia being hurt and being murdered and being imprisoned. This is an absolute catastrophe. This is not any kind of democracy. Of course, this is illegal activities. This is murderous activities perpetrated by, we call them the elites, who want to control and rule everything because they have a greed that is unending. And so we, the people of Colombia and the United States, throughout the hemisphere, have to establish a new form of democracy called Earth Rights Democracy. And it's time we really work closely together because it's impacting all of us. Now, this is important for the whole world because we are all one human family. They say there's only 5 steps of separation between you and I and everybody else on Earth. That means I know Lillian, Lillian knows you, many of you listening, you know someone else. Just takes 5 steps of relationship and everybody knows everybody. So we're all brothers and sisters as one family. We have to work together now at this crucial time to build a world that works for everyone. So I have a PowerPoint slide presentation, and I hope this will be the beginning of a very beautiful relationship of all of us working together. And thank you again for inviting me to give this presentation, Lily.
Thank you, Alanna, so much. And I would like people to know that you have written this beautiful, wonderful book, which is The Earth Belongs to Everyone. If you want to give us just a short summary of it so everybody can get it, how would they get it to?
Okay, so in the first slide, it says there's a free PDF at the link, and it shows the link. It's under books at the iu.org. So the book is a collection of 30 articles and essays that I had written over a couple of decades and had been published in many different publications, but I wanted to bring them all together into one book. And that is how this book was created. So there are very, very short articles that the shortest is only 6 paragraphs. It's called A Friend of Mine Bombed a Friend of Mine. This has to do again with relationships with people that I know in Iraq during that terrible war in Iraq. Other articles look at agriculture, at how to make our cities work, how to have land reform effectively, many different topics, economics of war and peace. The first one is a E.F. Schumacher lecture I gave called Democracy and Earth Rights. There is another one on financing global government that I'm proud to say that the Nuremberg war crime lawyer, Benjamin Ferencz, phrased that writing about financing planet management. That's in there. So just take a look and go through it in any order that is of interest when you look at the contents.
Thank you so much, Alanna. I have the privilege of having the book that you gave me in print, so I'm reading it and it's just fascinating. It's very
good.
Nice. Thank you so very much. So let's listen to what you have brought us so everybody can see what
thank you.
Alanna is. Thank you.
Thank you. I was inspired to put together 14 slides for a slideshow, and I titled it Earth Rights Are Human Rights, Presentation to People of Colombia. Now this image, look at closely. This is a very old image of a photograph that's over 100 years. This was Chief Little Bear at a World Expo, early part of the 1900s. Now, what is this native chief pointing to? He's pointing to the crack in our Liberty Bell. Why would he do that? I think he's showing that something is cracked in how democracy was established. We did not know. We did not have the technology to form a perfect bell out of metal. It cracked shortly after it was formed. But I use this as a symbol for the crack, the imperfection in our democracy. So that imperfection is the lack of earth rights. A Seneca Nation elder, thinker, and activist, John Mohawk, Satsisawa, challenged readers to reset and then reboot their value system. So this is from his book, Thinking in Indian. John Mohawk, in his essay, The Problem of the Modern World, when land became a commodity and lost its status as provider and sustainer of life, Western civilization began its history of subjugation and exploitation of the earth and earth-based cultures. For nearly 5 centuries, people have been coerced from their land holdings. The problem in the English-speaking world had its roots in the 16th century. It's so important that people in Colombia understand this deep history because it's what's impacting and causing the violence in your country today. And it's not colonialism per se. This is what happened in England before colonialism. The people had their land taken away. In the United Kingdom and Ireland, so on. The enclosures took the land away from the people. So we have to get back to natural law and earth wisdom. The equal right of all men and women to the use of land is as clear as their equal right to breathe the air. It is a right proclaimed by the fact of their existence, for we cannot suppose that some men and women have a right to be in this world and others do not. And this is the great American political economist Henry George in his book, Progress and Poverty, where he came to understand the reason there is this gross wealth inequality because we do not have democratic rights to the earth as a birthright. He built a very big movement in the late 1800s, which was a threat to the powers that like to concentrate wealth. So his work was taken out of the teaching of economics. This was a corruption of economics. We are putting forth the original classical economics to address wealth and power inequality. And it is an indigenous wisdom. It is an understanding that we're all one, we are all connected. That is deep natural law wisdom. The earth belongs to everyone. The claim by birthright can only be legitimate if it's acknowledged that all other human beings have an equal claim to land and natural resources. The deepest ethical dimension of territorial rights recognizes that humanity is one and indivisible in its fundamental claim to the earth as a birthright of all. This is a first principle. If we do not have our humans in a fair relationship to the earth, our planet, everything else gets distorted and corrupted, because everything, each of you look around where you are right now, everything that is human created that you see around you comes from people working up elements of the earth. And if that human-earth relationship isn't fair, nothing else will be fair, and there will be continued exploitation. Because land is not exactly property of exclusive ownership that a few can grab and others have none. Land is life. Land is not created by people because land creates people. The chemistry of the human body has all the earth elements. We are mostly water, and all the little trace minerals of the planet, even gold, are inside our human body. We grew like flowers out of the earth. The land, the earth, creates people and all life. So in what we're putting forth, the movement that is global, that we pray and hope will spring forth with strength, is that there's no trade-off. It's beyond the left and the right. Because left wants fairness as an ethic, right wants freedom. We want fairness and freedom together. We can build a system of public finance, that means taxes, that will strengthen and maximize incentives for sustainable development goals by sharing the value of the commons rent while reducing or eliminating taxes on labor creating wealth. Now, this term commons rent is important to understand. We know the commons is all the gifts of nature, and that what society creates as a whole. Imagine we're equal owners of the earth. We all get an equal share of the value that increases as society develops. As a city grows, as there are more roads and schools and public good things, that increases the land value. But right now, that land value is privatized. That land value is created by nature and society. It's a commons. We want to draw equally from the commons rent to provide and finance for our basic human needs, not from our labor and our work and our production. So we're going to describe how this works now. This is from the very important Declaration of Individual and Common Rights to Earth, composed in part of, this is part of a declaration composed way back in 1929 at an International Union for Land Value Taxation conference. The exercise of both common and individual rights in land is essential to a society based on justice, but the rights of individuals in natural resources are limited by the just rights of the community. Denying the existence of common rights in land creates a condition of society wherein the exercise of individual rights becomes impossible for the great mass of the people. When Colombian people exercise their individual rights to freedom of expression, to stand for justice, to speak their truth, they are being persecuted and they are being threatened and they are being killed. This is the problem. That democracy in Colombia, as in the United States, is very imperfect because it has no rights to the earth. Therefore, the freedom of individual expression is subverted, is corrupted, and ends in criminal behaviors. But we can build a system of public finance that will strengthen and maximize incentives for a fair distribution of wealth, environmental protection, efficient wealth production, the provision of adequate government services, and yes, the peaceful resolution of territorial conflicts. Now, I like to think of it as hatching several birds out of just one egg. When we correctly harness our taxation systems, we can have all these many benefits. How to do that? We want to share this commons rent. This is what we want to socialize. The unearned income that goes to the few that now own and control the land and resources. This is a commons that we need to socialize. So the surface land sites based on land value. That means just the land, surface land. We want to, that is a commons. Oil and minerals, that's the gifts of nature. Should not be private profit on what Mother Nature provides. Same with the water and the farmland that's given by nature, and the land that's used for timber and grazing, even the electromagnetic spectrum, that those satellites are out there able to tap that resource. That is a commons that should be leased to the corporations, and the people of the world should receive that lease fee. Same as for these geo-orbital zones where you can balance a satellite between the gravity of the Earth and the Moon. This is also a commons that the corporations that use those zones should pay lease fees to the people of the world. Now, we want to reduce or eliminate taxes on wealth that labor creates. We want to take taxes off of our income from our wages, from our work. We want to take the taxes off the real capital, which are the tools and the machines, especially tools and machines that are of sustainable quality and that aren't polluting Mother Earth. We want to take taxes off of our sales, especially there should be no sales tax on food, on shelter, on all these basic needs. So we want to take taxes off of our houses and our other buildings that we build with our hands and with our minds. So this is a proposed amendment, an earth rights amendment for municipal, city, town charters, state and province charters, and national constitutions. People have a right to the earth, sustained in a healthy condition. I want to say this is the other meeting of earth rights. Ecuador has a constitution, very important, of rights of Mother Earth. It gives rights to Mother Earth, but it does not give rights to Mother Earth of the people of the earth. So there are two meanings to earth rights. We are bringing in the meaning of our human right to Mother Earth, and here is a suggestion for amending our government charters for this. Government shall enforce the liability of persons, corporate or real, who damage the carrying capacity of earth. That's the environmental human right. People have a common heritage right to resource rents. We also call this common rents. The economic value of land sites and natural resources used to meet human needs. Their agent government is obliged to effect this sharing by collecting the resource, again, commons rents, via taxes, leases, use fees, dues, or other means. And then 3B is dispersing the recovered rents as dividends and or services, public services, schools, libraries, roads, water, sanitation, all this infrastructure would be financed by the commons rent. Now, in terms of the dividends, Alaska Permanent Fund, Alaska says that their oil resources are a commons. The Alaska Permanent Fund gives dividends to every citizen of Alaska from their oil rents, the commons value of the commons of oil. Last year, each person received $3,300. That means for a family of 4, a check is given to them in the mail for a family of 4 for over $10,000. This is theirs by right of the Alaska control of their own gifts of nature of oil. So that's an article in my book called The Alaska Permanent Fund. This is the last slide. Earth rights are human rights. Again, presentation to people of Colombia. There you can get free PDF of my book, but also please sign up for the free newsletter of the International Union for Land Value Taxation. We want to keep in touch, and we'll be putting more and more Spanish language connections, contacts, and articles on this website. And we want to work strongly with you. And Lily is our wonderful lead person. She's a person of great heart and mind and soul, working for the benefit of the people of Colombia. I'm honored to know her, and I thank you so much for listening to this presentation. Let's stay in touch. At the end of that presentation.
Thank you, Alanna, for this wonderful presentation. This is a gift that I'm going to share with all of these people. I have this program in Spanish that is called Your Best Bet. So we are just having a bet in many projects. So I'm honored to be here with you, and I love Your Best Bet. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It was
Adios.